The controversial moment, President Joe Biden was caught with his eyes closed at Jimmy Carter's funeral may have been an attempt to hide his grief, a body language expert has exclusively told the US Sun. Biden was criticized online on Thursday after his wife Jill appeared to nudge him, and former President George W. Bush also appeared to check on him while he had his eyes closed just minutes before he was due to speak at the funeral. 39th President of the United States, Jimmy Carter, was honored at a state funeral in Washington, D.C. on Thursday. The longest living president died on December 29th at the age of 100, surrounded by his loved ones after nearly 2 years in hospice care. His flag-draped casket arrived at the Washington National Cathedral at around 10:30 a.m. on Thursday. All 5 living presidents, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and Joe Biden, were in attendance. They were all accompanied by their wives, except for Michelle Obama, who was noticeably absent due to being on vacation in Hawaii. President Joe Biden and Jimmy Carter's grandson Jason delivered the final tributes, praising Jimmy's character and his respect for others.
The strength of character is more than title or the power we hold. It's the strength to understand that everyone should be treated with dignity, respect, that everyone, and I mean everyone, deserves an even shot.
The funeral marked the first time that many of the former presidents and Vice President Kamala Harris have been seen together since Trump's election win. A body language expert broke down their interactions for the US Sun, including a tense handshake between Trump and his former VP Mike Pence, and a moment where Trump and Obama were seen laughing together. But it was Biden's apparent slumber that drew the most attention.
When something is very painful or you're grieving, there is a higher tendency for you to close your eyes. And it's called eye blocking. And eye blocking, you might block when you're feeling a painful emotion, when you're hearing somebody say something that makes you sad. It's also a tell in deception detection if somebody is lying or you're asking the question they're going to lie to. So I think it's always possible that he's just really tired. I speak on body language and grief, trauma, and loss. So I see this actual posture and the eyes closed with the head down at solemn events and funerals. So it's not atypical of the situation. It could be he's catching a few, winks because he's tired and fatigued, which would also make sense in the last days of the presidency. But it's also typical of somebody, specifically in grief, trauma, and loss, and at a funeral.
Patty also claimed that it was not unusual to see Obama and Trump laughing together.
It's not unusual for world leaders to cut up with each other. That is not unusual. Trump is doing the work. So in both the video and the one photo, Trump is the one that is leaning in the most. He is expending the most energy to get closer to Obama. And to me, that's a tell, because historically we think and hear his disrespect and derision of Obama and him cutting down Obama. And yet here in this situation, he's non-verbally, he's making an effort to lean over into him and to talk to him and joke around with him. It's also telling in the one photo that Obama has his head down. He is not making eye contact. And again, Trump is making the effort to lean to the side and face towards Obama and speak and try to get Obama's attention. You see the thumb placement by Trump? See how that's oddly placed and angular? That's a dig handshake. So he's actually digging in to that fairly sensitive area between the forefinger and thumb of Pence. And then Pence is doing what is called a shield movement. He's got his hand placed. You see the hand placement with the fingers curled over? And that shield is protecting, it's called the ventral front. It's the most vulnerable part of the body. And so we're seeing his desire and need to protect himself as he interacts with Trump and shakes hands with him. So normally you think, they're shaking hands, they're fine, but there's tells that indicate something else is going on. If you go all the way up to Pence's face, do you see his eyes and eyebrows and forehead? And you can see there's a little bit of glare, a little bit of anger in that facial expression too. He's angry, but he also feels the need to protect himself. And he can't be aggressive. It's the incoming president.